A promising serve, hidden potential, and a blueprint an opponent used to challenge her game on center court. What happened to Alex Eala at Wimbledon wasn't just a match. It was a powerful lesson in the one skill that separates good players from Grand Slam champions. Stay with this one till the end, because by the time it's over, you'll understand exactly what turns a solid serve into a truly dominant weapon. If you love women's tennis and want to see the next generation rise, this breakdown is for you. The journey to the second week. Building a foundation brick by brick to appreciate why Alex Eala's serve became such a focal point after her Wimbledon run. You first have to understand how far this 21-year-old Filipina had already come. Arriving at the 2026 championships as the 29th seed, Eala carried the weight of a nation that had never witnessed one of its own players advance this deep into a major. The Philippines has produced talented athletes across sports, but tennis stardom on the grass of the All-England club felt like uncharted territory. Eala turned professional in 2020 amid the challenges of a global pandemic. Her rise wasn't meteoric or gifted by wealth or connections. It was earned through relentless dedication. She collected challenger titles, reached the final in Eastbourne on grass, a surface that would prove pivotal, made a semi-final appearance in Miami, cracked the top 100, and by early 2026 had climbed inside the world's top 32. This steady ascent reflected a player who improved incrementally, refining every element of her game: footwork, fitness, mental resilience, and tactical awareness. On the slick grass courts of Wimbledon, that foundation shone. Eala methodically dispatched Renata Zarazua and Maya Joint in the early rounds. Then came the headline-grabbing upset, a straight-sets victory over former world number 1 Iga Swiatek. The win propelled her into the fourth round, her first ever appearance in the second week of a Grand Slam. For a young player from a country with limited tennis infrastructure, this was more than a result. It was a statement that hard work could bridge gaps once thought insurmountable. Coaches and scouts have long praised what makes Eala dangerous. Her exceptional footwork allows her to cover the court like few others, turning defensive positions into counterattacking opportunities. She possesses elite speed, sharp instincts at the baseline, and a fearless ability to transition to the net to finish points when rallies extend. As a left-hander, she benefits from natural geometric advantages. Her wide serves kick away at awkward angles that right-handers, who comprise the vast majority of the tour, find difficult to read consistently. The spin she generates creates unfamiliar patterns, forcing opponents into uncomfortable movement. Yet every breakthrough run eventually poses the same critical question: what happens when raw talent and surprise factor are no longer enough? What happens when opponents arrive fully prepared with a specific game plan? The Paolini Challenge, a masterclass in adjustments that test, arrived in the form of Jasmine Paolini, the 13th-seeded Italian with her own impressive pedigree, including a previous Wimbledon final appearance. The match was competitive from the first point, delivering the kind of high-level chess that defines Grand Slams. Eala claimed the first set and produced flashes of the brilliant counterpunching tennis that had toppled Swiatek. For stretches, it felt like she might extend her dream run even further. But Paolini adapted brilliantly. She had clearly studied Eala's signature wide lefty serve, the serve that had been sliding opponents off the court and creating massive openings for forehand winners or net approaches. Paolini shortened her swing preparation, improved her anticipation, and began redirecting returns more effectively. This subtle change flipped the geometry of many points. Suddenly, Eala found herself on the defensive more often on the low-bouncing grass, where recovery time is minimal. On crucial points, Paolini varied her own serving patterns masterfully, mixing body serves to jam Eala's rhythm with well-placed T serves that limited angles. Eala responded with heart and fighting spirit. There were no collapses or mental breakdowns. Instead, she battled every point, showcasing the resilience that had defined her entire tournament. The scoreline reflected a hard-fought battle that could have swung either way, but ultimately highlighted areas ripe for growth. This wasn't a failure, it was an education. In tennis, reaching the fourth round of Wimbledon as a 21-year-old is an achievement few manage. Facing an opponent who neutralized one of your primary weapons provides the exact data needed for the next level of evolution. Expert eyes. Navratilova and Rosetsky on the serve's untapped potential after the match. The tennis world turned its attention to analysis from those who have walked the champion's path. Martina Navratilova, a 18-time Grand Slam singles champion and one of the greatest to ever play, offered insights as a Tennis Channel analyst that resonated deeply. Navratilova noted that Eala's serve already shows flashes of real power, capable of reaching peaks around 105 miles per hour, but often settles into the 80 to 85 miles per hour range during matches. She emphasized that for a left-hander, this is an area of massive upside. Recommendations included experimenting with grip changes, particularly toward a more continental or backhand grip for slice, increasing spin variation, and leveraging the natural lefty angles more aggressively. These adjustments could turn the serve from a reliable starter into a point-ending weapon that dictates play rather than merely initiating it. Navratilova also highlighted Eala's net game as a significant strength. She makes her way to the net, and she can finish there. If you don't have the power to finish from the baseline consistently, you better be able to get into the net and finish. And she does that. This praise underscored a key truth. Eala already possesses elite athleticism, courtcraft, and finishing ability. The serve is simply the missing piece that could tie everything together into a more complete, proactive game. Former British number 1 Greg Rosetsky echoed these sentiments with more technical specificity. When asked what he would prioritize if coaching Eala, he focused on mechanics, while acknowledging the visible elbow strapping on her serving arm, a reminder of the physical demands of the professional circuit. Rosetsky stressed that Eala never makes excuses. She competes with remarkable toughness. Key suggestions included loosening the wrist position for a more whip-like action, comparing it favorably to Novak Djokovic's efficient, low-maintenance serve, improving the ball toss and throwing position for better rhythm, and refining overall timing and balance in the kinetic chain. These are not vague ideas but precise, coachable cues used to develop world-class servers. Rosetsky also drew parallels between Eala's mentality, her return game, ground strokes, and never-say-die attitude, to that of Rafael Nadal, a tremendous compliment for any young player. Universal principles. What separates good from great? Stripping away the specific names and tournament context reveals 5 timeless principles that every aspiring champion must embrace. Principle 1. Raw talent has a ceiling, often found first in the serve. Elite footwork, speed, and counterpunching are invaluable, but the serve is the only shot players control entirely. When it becomes a consistent weapon, through higher velocity, better placement, and variation, the entire game shifts from reactive to proactive. Eala's potential to regularly access 100+ mph serves while maintaining accuracy demonstrates how this ceiling can be raised dramatically. Principle 2. Variation creates unpredictability. Pace alone wins occasional points, but mixing heavy slice, topspin kick serves, body serves, and deceptive placement keeps opponents guessing. For a left-hander like Eala, the wide slice serve to the deuce court can be devastating on grass and hard courts alike. Developing a reliable slider and occasional kick serve will prevent opponents from sitting on one predictable pattern, as Paolini was able to do. Principle 3. Mechanics multiply power. Tennis power isn't primarily about muscle mass, it's about efficient sequencing of the kinetic chain. Legs driving up, core rotating, shoulder turning, and a loose, snapping wrist releasing energy at contact. Djokovic's serve exemplifies this technical efficiency, delivering consistency and power with minimal stress on the body. Refining Eala's toss, elbow position, and wrist snap could yield significant gains without requiring her to overhaul her natural style. Principle 4. Resilience under physical strain is mastery. Competing at the highest level while managing minor injuries visible through elbow support, without complaint separates professionals from the rest. Eala's ability to maintain performance throughout a deep run, even when her serve was under pressure, showcased true mental and physical toughness. Principle 5. Being challenged is not the end. It's the beginning. Every future Grand Slam champion has encountered opponents who temporarily solved parts of their game. The difference lies in the response, detailed analysis, targeted practice, and incremental improvements. Eala's Wimbledon experience provided a public masterclass in exactly these areas. Looking ahead, a bright roadmap for Eala and Philippine tennis. Alex Eala already belongs among the best young talents in women's tennis. Her athleticism, fighting spirit, net prowess, and lefty advantages form a formidable base. The serve discussions from Navratilova and Rosetsky aren't criticisms. They're a blueprint and an invitation to even greater heights. In the coming months, focused work on serve mechanics, variation, and integration with her aggressive net game could transform Eala into a consistent top 20 threat and beyond. Imagine a player who can hold serve effortlessly on grass, dictate baseline exchanges with better first strike power, and finish at the net with confidence. That version of Eala would be a nightmare matchup for anyone. For Philippine tennis, her run represents more than personal success. It inspires a new generation, highlights the importance of investment in youth development, and proves that talent from any corner of the world can compete on the biggest stages. The serve that legends analyzed in detail is not a weakness. It's the next exciting chapter. With her proven work ethic, support from a nation behind her, and actionable advice from icons of the game, the future for Alex Eala looks incredibly bright. The tennis world will be watching closely to see how she implements these lessons and writes the next pages of her story. This Wimbledon run was just the beginning. The hidden potential in that serve, combined with everything else already in place, could very well turn a promising career into a legendary one. If you enjoyed this analysis and want more in-depth tennis breakdowns, subscribe, like, and share your thoughts below. What aspect of Eala's game excites you most for the future? Let's discuss in the comments. Thanks for reading. See you at the next major.